This is Laura Duncan with CSMS. Today we're going to be talking about scatter plots and lines of best fit. In example 1, a local football team has gained the following yardage in its first 7 games. Graph the data. So remember the acronym TAILS. And please put the title, axis, intervals, and so on. All right, before we get too much further, looking at our data, it makes sense that the games would have an interval of 1. But how about the yards, looking at our graph? What interval would you choose? For our example, we chose intervals of 50. So starting with 0, you'll go increase by 50 each line. Now that we have our graph set up, we're going to plot each point. So this is the point, 1, 348. So this is not perfect, but place your point as close as you can to where it should be. Our next point is 2, 350. So that is on an intersection of those lines, so please make sure it's in that intersection. Then 3, 300. That would be on an intersection as well. 4, 295. 5, 280. 6, 250. And 7, 225. Now this is called a scatter plot. As you can see, this is based on real-life data, and real-life data isn't always pretty. It looks kind of ugly sometimes. These scatter plots are an excellent way to model real-life data to observe patterns and trends. We use scatter plots to observe relationships and to see if those relationships exist between sets of data. So we call that a correlation. When you're looking for these correlations, you can look at it and see if this is a positive correlation or a negative correlation, or if there's no correlation at all. So can you identify a pattern in the above data? Well, if you look carefully, you can see that the number of yards decrease with every gain. Most of the time, real-world data does not fit into a nice straight line. So we use a line of best fit, and we try to make predictions. This line is drawn so the points are evenly distributed above and below the line and seem to cluster around the line. So we're going to draw a line of best fit now. And when we draw a line of best fit, it should go through the data with the lines clustering around it. Please use your straight edge as you try to put in a line of best fit. This is a skill, so hopefully your points are clustered, some below and some above where the line is. This line of best fit is also called a linear regression, and we can use it to make predictions. For example, in Game 8, where do you expect their yardage to be? So we would simply look on our line and find the point that lies on the line to make our prediction. Let's go on to page 2. When we have a perfect positive correlation, that looks an awful lot like a straight line. It's perfectly aligned. However, a strong one, the points of data are all clustered around a line. If there's a weak positive correlation, you can still see that if we had a line there, it would be going in a positive direction, but the points of data are spread further apart. In no correlation, you can't see a straight line anywhere. So that means there's no relationship. Now in the negative correlation, we have the same thing. We have a perfect one where they're in a straight line, a strong where they are clustered very closely together, and then a weak negative correlation. These are negative because they're going down the mountain, whereas the positive correlations are going up the mountain, just as in slope. So these are the 7 possible types of correlations or relationships that a graph could show. So what type of correlation did the data in example 1 have? So in example 1, we see that it's a negative correlation. And while they're not perfect, it does have points that are pretty close together. So I would say that that was a strong negative correlation in our first example. Let's try example 2. Example 2, Old Faithful is a geyser in Yellowstone National Park. For more than 100 years, Old Faithful has erupted every day at intervals of less than 2 hours. The data in the table may suggest that the time between eruptions may be related to the length of the previous eruption. Make a scatter plot and draw a line of best fit. So let's first start with looking at our data. This is the X, this is the Y. We'll label those accordingly. Look at your intervals. Perhaps it would be good to go up by 5/10. And looking at the times of eruptions, since our highest value is 92, then it seems fair to begin with 10 and go up by intervals of 10. So please set up your graph now. Pause the video as you do so. Now that you have your graph complete or set up, please plot the points. So the first ordered pair is 2, 57. Please pause the video here as you fill in your point. Now that you've plotted those points, try to draw a line of best fit or a linear regression. There is a skill to this, so give it a shot. It is so much easier, I've got to tell you, if you have a clear ruler. Please pause the video and do this now. All right, here I have a good linear regression. Please put your arrows on the end of your regression. Now look at the type of correlation. So it looks to be a strong positive correlation. Based on your line, if the length of an eruption was 1 minute, how long would it be until the next eruption? So since that question is asking or giving us information, length of the eruption was 1 minute, that's the X value. So the X value is equal to 1. Here is X is equal to 1. So what we need to do is we need to elongate our linear regression so that we can make a prediction. So use your straight edge to elongate your line. When the length of the eruption is 1 minute, look exactly on your line. The point would be right there. Let me change to black so you can see. So that would be 1 and about 43. So we could expect that our time until the next eruption would be about 43 minutes. Now starting at the top of your page, correlation does not necessarily mean causation. Just because there's a strong correlation or relationship between data does not necessarily mean that one set of data is causing the effect that is occurring in the other set of data. So look at our first 2 examples. We can see that there's a correlation, also called a relationship. between the sets of data, but is there causation? So when we're talking about football games and yardage, you have to think about, what do you think is happening? Why would the yards go down as the games increase? So we'll discuss that more in class. Let's look at an example of a causal relationship and its graph. So in this relationship, there is causation and there is correlation. So the hours of studies is correlated to the test scores, is causing the higher test scores. Here's an example that shows an association or a correlation, but not a causation. So this is true data. Jars of strawberry jam sold in New York and number of CDs sold in Florida. It shows a strong positive correlation, but is there any causation here? No, there's not. So be sure that you do not confuse correlation and causation. This concludes our lesson for today.